group draws. I'm this one guy going to be bringing you a quick little group draw process here today. It's going to be very simple. We've got 64 teams. There are going to be 4 teams per group, so there'll be a high seed, a top seed, a high seed, mid seed, and a low seed, or a top seed, a mid seed, a low seed, a bottom seed, however you want to look at it is totally fine. So we have divided each seed up onto their own wheeled side wheel. You've got your top, mid, low, and bottom seeds each on their own wheel. We're going to draw them from the bottom up, so we're going to start with those bottom seeds, then the low seeds, then the mid seeds, then those high seeds. Those top 16 teams are going into groups A through P. Of course, top 2 teams from each of those groups will advance onward into the bracket stage. First, they got to make it through the groups. For a single round robin, 3 matches per team in the round robin group stage. Usual rules apply. I think most people are pretty familiar with how groups work, so this will be pretty straightforward and easy. We're going to kind of run through this one relatively quickly because I have tried to record this 3 different times now, and I keep having some problem or other, so hopefully this will be the third try, fourth try is the lucky one. And so we're going to get underway, as I said, starting with those bottom seeds, and here we go. First team drawn is going to be Query. As long as I can type their name right. That is maybe an inappropriate avatar. We'll decide on that one. Query is one of several Polish teams, I believe, that you'll see in this lower seeded group. Hunsakers, Zelq, O5KA9, Trioho, Ule, Unlucky, Milk, Tanaki Maru, and Weri. So I guess that explains the team name. They're the number 61 seed overall. Number 2, going into Group B, is the low seed. Is going to be Pudzian, which is the other all-Polish team down here in the bottom seeds. They're at the 49, so they're the highest seeded of the bottom seeded teams, highest ranked of the bottom seeded teams. Son Goku PL, Kosiarka Top 1, Esamoka Bobiak, Lixarius, Soisti, Mr. Zux, and Bushek. 2 Polish teams, boom, boom, right next to each other. That'll be fun. In very different groups there. Group C is bottom seed. Going to be NGU, which, if memory serves, is going to be a Vietnamese team. The 59th seed. Captain Kuroni, Sindez 19, Kiethao, Hukun, Fukuto Tohido, Boy Than Ho, Fatty, and Yuka. Very interesting set of names on that roster. Nobody that I'm super familiar with there. But looking to see what they can do in this group stage as the lowest seeded team in their group. Next up is going to be Vertarix and Team Washington. I think everybody's pretty familiar with the Washington teams that we see in these tournaments pretty frequently. They're the 52 seed, but don't let that fool you because they have some very strong tournament players. So captained by Vertarix, joined by DNFD, Fudu Hasio, just Fudu nowadays, Conrad Mitten, Azumin, Warpscon, Kenpai, and RME Fan. That'll be a team to watch out for, one of those very strong D seeds, or bottom seeds. Would be so much easier to use A, B, C, and D, wouldn't it? Oh well. Next one is going to be Team Black Belt, going into Group E. Team Black Belt, the second to lowest overall seed at number 63. That is a Brazilian team with a very interesting set of players on it. They actually I would almost kind of say they sandbagged their seed a little bit. So it's Milim, Novato King, HTTD, Sanji Lift, Guilherme Bulos, Kawa, Afro, and Final Bang 4, who is a player who's ranked 12,510. Now, of course, this tournament we use average BWS of all players on the team. And so that 12,510 really drags them down quite a bit farther than they would be otherwise. So looking to try to cause some upsets at that bottom seed spot in that group, perhaps. Usually it's not optimal to be a lower seeded group team anyway, because you're likely to run into more stronger opponents, but so be it, I suppose. Next team, Gigati Larcher. What is this team name? Excuse me? I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce this, but this is, despite that team name, actually a full North American team. Oh, that was weird. I'll just read that. Okay. Gloaty, Nether Sonic, Xeno Penguino, Racho, Vertex, Bob Swaggett, I Suck at HD, and Henry. A bunch of players that I've never heard of with a very strange team name. I don't know what to make of that exactly, but there you go. 6 going in. our 7th low seed is going to be our very bottom-seeded team in the tournament. That is Team Rikma, which is, of course, I think pretty well known in the 5-digit tournament scene, if nothing else, and like 4-digit, 5-digit tournament scene, I suppose. Hopefully they know that they're still in, because they wouldn't have gotten in, but because of screening, removing a player, a team above them was actually dropped to below 6 players, which is the minimum required for a team. That's going to be Big Brain, Remu, Sorai, Workhit, Clueless Player, Muggs, Iceru, and Archa. Mostly between 1 and 5,000 ranked players, so decent tournament players who are pretty experienced on that team, but again, lower ranked in general, so getting that bottom seed position. Next team, Pizza Uni. Nice logo there for those guys. That is going to be number 53 seed, a full Finnish roster. Salvilju, AJJ, Mr. Spit 23, TB358, Ju, Gibbous, Hatsune Miku, and Nacris. People may be familiar with AJJ and TB358 from the tournament scene, but not a lot of well-known players on that roster by any means. Next up is going to be Hot Dog. Might end up changing that team name to just Hot Dog. Not sure. We'll figure it out. Right now, we're going to do it this way. Because that turns out there's the hot dog emoji, and I don't really want to have that in Discord. But this is an interesting international roster here. Got from all over the place, really. Asia, Russia, USA. It's going to be Ojo-sama, Sin Smile, Willy, Silly Me, Aimseki, Naigo, Anemic Witch, and Kaname Madoka. That's the number 62 seed in the tournament. Not really familiar with many of those players. Obviously, most people will be familiar with Willy, if nothing else, but that's about it there, probably. Next up, Ketchup Shampoo. That's a really disgusting sort of thing. I don't like the idea of ketchup shampoo. That sounds really gross. I like how we have hot dog and then ketchup shampoo. Like hot dog and then ketchup would be cool. But the shampoo kind of ruins it. This is the 56 seed. They're an Israeli roster. Painted Koala, their captain, Galog, Ite, Chip, Accelerator, Dano, Tai 5180, and Alufi. Not many names that I'm familiar with there either. Sorry, guys. Next up, Yagnida. There's an interesting team name with a little distorted white cat thing as their logo. I guess that's fine. Eastern European roster, number 50 seed. Dead Push, Alismo, Mindblock, MGM, Kaikairik 25, Ilusha 1908, Danon, and Ruplexer. Again, one of those bottom seed teams that I don't know anybody on, so really can't comment much on those guys. And barely making it over into Rugia we go. Is going to take us down to the Final Four after this, but this is one of the strongest low seed teams, if I had to say. They are the 60 seed, but that's Ether, Revo, Not a Function, Lyotic, Vector, Megatron is Bad, Non-Cyclone, Fluffy Echo. That is a team that can do some damage depending on the other teams in their group. I think they will be probably quite strong. Obviously some very experienced tournament players, some very strong, skilled individuals on that one. Kind of dragged down Fluffy Echo down at 10k rank, you know, kind of affects that team's seeding a little bit. Next up, Bocce Locus, IIDX. There's some IIDX players on that roster. That is a Colombian team from South America, 58th seed. Players including Crisco, Rushi, Ninther 4, Ritokoi, Elmic 29, Jakuru, Yuari, and Elmic 26 as well. No confusion there, of course, with those players. We'll figure that one out as we go, I suppose. But, again, not a ton of really known tournament players on that one. See how things go for them. Third from last, Pimped by Yifei, going into Group N. It's an interesting team name as well. That's a Canadian team, in fact. Nobody I've ever heard of on this roster. The 54 seed, Jimara, Kaname, 123123 Eric, Brahm, Realism, Sub Whistle, Light Nemesis, and Gary Wambo. Can't say that I've ever heard of any of those guys in tournaments. Next up are another returning team from last year, Kooks Cohen. Remember them around from last year. I think that might be the same icon, or a similar icon at least, to the one they used before. Kooks Cohen, another European team. Seed 55, made up of the Skyfox, Arnie, Leffy, Sua, Mark Napkin, _Wonder, Fle, and Jellonaze. And because we have to, we're going to click it. It's going to be our last team in the low seeds. It is going to be Enjoyment Gaming. Signed up with a team name that is not okay, so that has been changed, as well as okay. I swear I removed that. Yeah, we're not allowing that. That's gonna just be it's gonna be. We'll just okay. Well, we'll fix that when we get there here. Let's see here. Where's the thing? Yeah, they're gonna get this guy. Okay. Yeah. By the way, captain of this team is a former GMT. I just thought everybody would want to know that there's a former GMT that's signing up a team as Pedophile Gaming. Not super cool there, dude. I'm sorry. That is not the wave. But okay, well, we're still recording, so it's fine. Okay, apparently this was streaming at the same time as recording. All right. All right, well, anyway, back to the just recording. I don't know how the... Okay, so apparently I've just been told I was actually streaming for like this whole time, because when I clicked start recording, it also started streaming. So whatever, I guess. Anyway, just gonna go delete that bot after this, and luckily that was at like a decent stopping point because I was in between seeds. Anyway, we're gonna go on to the C seeds here, or the low seeds, I guess, and continue onward after that brief intermission. So, on we go. This will be the number 33 through 48. And it's going to start with Samoye 3 WTF, which is a Finnish team again, our second Finnish team. Seed 36, Hank Selly, Atria Kenafile, Jerichek, Zac Efron, Dezku, Zepe, Emacetic, and Roba. Bunch of people that are pretty decent. Obviously, Jerichek probably the best known out of there. Not like the most insane tournament players for the most part, but yeah, other people with some experience at least. Next up, Parumachi Drip, as it barely flicks over. Parumachi Drip. I don't know what to make of that. That's seed number 44. A seven-player roster. I believe they might have lost somebody through screening. It's going to be Bless RNG, Jackson, Marami Cat, Venpris, Opie, Latency, and Second. Some players that I'm not super familiar with personally, but there you go. Next up, Recién Laos, which is a Spanish team. Guy giving a thumbs up while wearing sunglasses as their logo. You love to see it. One M4T, Kalal 331, N Harmonia, Marble, Margot, Mo Wagon, Dorito 0XX, and Arenth. Okay. Spanish team, bunch of Spaniards, all goods. Raft Dodgers going in with Team Washington. That's gonna make scheduling. Oops. That'll make scheduling a little more interesting in this one. Raft Dodgers, one of those teams that's really international. 47 seed. Captain Timberwolf, joined by Tuan, Junjo, Pundice, Yasui, Uichen, Unreally, and Wosia. They're from the UK, Vietnam, United States, Mexico, Germany, Vietnam again, UK again, and Singapore. That's going to be a fun team to schedule. I hope you guys enjoy playing at 16 UTC, because that's when you're playing all your matches. Next up, Telomerase Pony. Telomerase Pony, which is actually just the next team after Raft Dodgers. It's kind of funny. That is the number 48 seed. Redzi, Iamville, Ted, Catburger, Hestai, Tumunkin, Pole, and Marco Polo. That is, of course, a Danish team, all from Denmark except for Ted. Next up, Ganyu Fan Club. Going into Group F is there. Lower seed. Ganyu Fan Club is going to be... scroll up here a little bit to find them. The second highest of the low seeds, number 34. Primarily American team. Javen, You're Cute, Rosen, Flasho, Fosho, and by Alpama from, I want to say Australia, I think. Sweetie, Friends396, of course, the noted stream mapper, and Suicune 3. I guess their time zones will be okay, most likely. In all likelihood, hopefully. Alright, next up, Bisoku Zenshin, which is the next team again. We go from... What did we do? We went 44... Or no, we went 47 to 48, and now we're going 34 to 35. Bisoku Zenshin. This is going to be a pretty strong team, primarily Singaporean, with a little bit of Philippines in there, and a Thai player, not Taiwanese, Thailand. We Seal, Zone Louise, Soba Noodles, Deppy Force, Megumik, Lowslight, RT0, and Ayuchi. That is a really strong team. They're really, really good for a low seed. That's going to be a dangerous one. Next up, Team No Way. Going into Group H. Team No Way. There is no way. That is a Russian team. It's going to be the 43 seed. DZ, Shiden, Dahujka, Verneo, Lysophoria, Kinoro, Delete, and Russian Vaxe himself, the somewhat infamous these days Russian Vaxe on that roster. Pretty strong team there. Next up, the Washington football team. Yes, sir. It's them. It's them. So that is an all-American team, naming themselves after the team formerly known as the Washington Redskins. No longer. Captained by Chris, joined by Kukweezy, Dulakira, Errol, 1103, 999 wins, Galactic Light N, and Official Jerk, all United States players. Looking to have a good time at that low seed spot. I think they'll be a pretty strong one as well. Some very strong players on that roster for sure. Next up, you have Flushed Tomato going into Group J. All one word, Flushed Tomato. Great logo. Big fan of that one. This is another European team, the 39th seed. Belfast Chan, Disco is Trash. Hey, no, he's not. Hades, BMG, Artesia, Samoyed. Wait, why is he not on Samoyed 3 WTF? Hello? Soulja Boy Tell 'em and Chained Tomb. Got some OWC players on this one with Hades. I want to say maybe Samoyed. Soulja Boy Tell 'em, I believe, was on the Irish OWC team. So some decently familiar names on that roster. We go into Choco Ice in Group K. Choco Ice, what a great team name that is. That is our 45 seed. An interestingly mixed UK-US team. You've got Zephyrco, Cornfield, X-Chillin, Bly10, Spectre, HD, Synchrone, and Lunicia. Not a ton of names familiar on that one, but Some guys who I've seen around tournaments a little bit. X Chillin, Blyten. Next up, Morix System V20. Oh, I typed that right. I did type that right. First try. First try. That is a mixed team, actually. You'd expect it to be French, but they're French with a little bit of outside influence. The 33 seeds is going to be the highest ranked team in the low seed bracket. Already up above 2,000 average rank. Cool. Captained by Luxnox, joined by Flaste, Logic System, Lighted, Morix, Vaults, Knots, and Chemistry. Another very, very strong low seed team. The nice thing this year, you had such good signups, a lot of really strong lower seeded teams. So the final 4 of these bottom seed, or these low seeds, $19 Fortnite card. And their team name is Too Long to Fit. You'll love to see it. That is the 38th seed. Another European roster. Quarantina, BZE, Spook, Ophiz, Vomit Throat, Gaza, Phybeth, and Defects. Another one of these very, very strong low seeds. There's a lot of good teams in low seed this year, which just makes it even scarier to think how good the teams are in the mid and high seeds, but we'll get to those when we get to them. Very, very strong roster there. Next up, Metro Monks. Going into Group N. Metro Monks. Alright, where is Metro Monks? I have to find them. Okay, 46 seed. That is an Argentinian roster. Captained by Pengo, joined by Oni, Slina, Toshi, Tranqui, Naika, XC, and Awus. Awus? I don't know. Couple of pretty known names on there. Penguo, Naika, of course. I love them. Argentinian players. Second to last, Kimatsuno Yaiba, which I'm gonna guess is a Japanese team, the 41 seed. They are all Japanese. Celis, not to be confused with Delis. Sinch Schlafen, who I will never get over being Japanese because he, for all the world, sounds like he should be like German or something. Saria, Benny, Mercurius, Potofu, and Poruteri. So this is going to be a throwback Japan OWC roster from like the OG days. Don't know how much they still play. I don't know if they even knew they were in the tournament, so we're going to hope that they show up. And last but not least is going to be Vtuber Enjoyers. Is the team of Kanehime. Pretty interesting roster to kind of throw together here. Some very different players. This one's going to be Kanehime, Shadooz, Neronio, Suikami, Celsi, Madozito, Nakano Itsuki, and LWL going down into Group P as the final of the low seed teams. Some very well-known tournament players there. Of course, Kanehime, gold badge is his name. Neronio, very solid performer. Nakano Itsuki, Starsticks, recent 4WC winner on Hong Kong. Got some good players on that roster for sure. Shadooz, known at God, etc., etc. Celsi, one of the best graphics artists right now. I don't know if I've actually seen her play, so that's all I'm qualified and able to comment on. Yeah, that's going to do it for the low seeds. Now we get to go into some really good teams. We're going to start to go into the mid seeds and then finally the high seeds. So we're going to start off our mid seeded teams back up at the top of Group A. Here we go. And it is going to be I Love Tatayama as the first team. I Love Tatayama. I do too. Whoever Tatayama is. I don't know who that is. Let's find I Love Tatayama here. Where are they? I Love Tatayama. They're actually the lowest seeded of the mid-seed teams. 7 United States players and Hami TR as the captain from... where is he from? I'm trying to remember. Panama? I think he's from Panama. I could be wrong. Anyway, he'll be joined by Headstack, Stacker Joe, Leebs, Mode, Arco, Raul, and Fooders. So... lowest ranked of the mid seeds, but still a very strong roster nonetheless. Next up, Naruhodo. Naruhodo. That is another all Japanese team. This is going to be Captain Decktopia, somehow made it into the rank range at rank 303. Joined by Tatsuya, Rollpan, Konkon Kinokon, Invoker, Date, Satellite, and Mio Yamazaki. There's some really good players on this team, man. Dictopia, Tatsuo, Rollpen, Konkon, Kinikon, like all super good. Satellite will, I think, do really well, especially in early stages and stuff. Not as familiar with Invoker, Diet, or Miyo Yamazaki, but a lot of good players on that roster, especially for being only a mid-seed. Next up, Potato Munchers. What a team name. Potato Munchers, man. Holy cow, that's a squad. Potato Munchers is going to be another one of those kind of international teams, and a player from a country that I literally can't recognize. So I'll look this guy up real quick. He is from Bosnia-Herzegovina. Okay, all right. I've never seen that flag before that I can think of. Anyway, Captain Swick, joined by Wukio__Neo, Asdioff, Woodsy, Armand Dilbo, Yenatoro 7, and Zesty T. This team didn't get organized properly. I'll have to fix that right now, in fact. Sort by column L. There we go. All right. Not a lot of well-known names on this one. Asdioff may be an exception. I've seen that name around, but not a ton of players I'm super familiar with there. Next up, we get Pole der Boss. That's a team name and a half right there. Pole der Boss, of course, a German team, no surprise there. Captain by Jason, joined by Enroys, I Fake RZ, I'm Bad at Osu, SH4RQ, Hab dich lieb, Suome, and MRK. So there's some players you might know on that roster, but mostly players you probably don't know at all. Next up, Group E, mid-seed, Free Gallondorf IV. Another very long team name. Does not fit in the box. Unfortunate. Dare I say this is maybe a French team? Let's see. Oh, it is. A full French team. Besta, the captain, joined by Fumatsu, Carbone, Gallondorf II, Barbex, Suli, and Kalangi. French. Some of my well-known tournament players on that roster. And that one in the wrong place. I know. It's okay. Okay, fix that. And again, set that wrong. And our next team up is Ramsing. All caps, Ramsing. They're very angry about their team being called Ramsing. This is a majority Russian team with one intruder from Poland. He's captained by Zombier, joined by Azaz08967565, Adonis18, Gamer228666. Boy, these are some player names, geez. Dinox, Stimix, Temkana, and Markram. That's a really strong roster, actually. There's some really good players on that team. That'll be one to watch out for sure. Next up, Osu True Skill. You know it's coming eventually. I think I'm in the group with Bisoku Zenshin, so that's going to be a pretty tough one. Osu True Skill. Let's find them here real quick, somewhere or other. Yeah, the 25th seed. These strong kind of tournament player rosters. IGN, Zaxreed, Arj, Ataraxia, Defons, Ryunata, TFGE, and Serpy. That's a very strong mid-seed team as well. That'll be one to keep an eye on in that group. They'll be getting through in all likelihood. Next up, Dumal Club. I don't know what that means. That's actually the next team. They're the 26th seed, so going right in order here. A full Swedish roster. Lightline, Jagiko, Masta, Scylla, Felrian, Tony Reno, Nesnan, and Nitraz. And I think Tony Reno's name is actually, like, weirdly capitalized in Osu, and I don't know why. Like, the O is capital, and I'm not sure why. I don't know if that was intentional or not. I guess we're not going to be able to tell because the site doesn't load. There it goes. Yep. That's so weird. I don't know why the O is capitalized as well as the T. But yeah, some pretty decent tournament players on that, but not like the most, like the top of the top Swedish players. Next up, Gurney Squad going into Group I. Gurney Squad. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Gurney Squad. What a roster. 20th seed. Kageno Kami, Sanjuro, Civil Oath, K15, Shirke My Mommy, Ramu, Elki, and Bitcoin. Not a ton of well-known players there, honestly. Obviously Civil Oath, everybody in the tournament community has heard of him, but not as familiar with the rest of that roster. Next up, TTV Malula OS. Okay. Okay. Twitch.tv/Malula OS. Go there for watching Malula play Osu, I guess. He is not on this team. 23rd seed, almost all Canadian. Chiv, Beard, Incredibeast1, Arav, Sepid, Totoro, Water, and Tatayama. Would have been funny if they'd gotten in the same group, or well, they're in the same seed as I Love Tatayama, so they couldn't have. If they hadn't been in the same seed, it would have been funny if they'd been in the same group as I Love Tatayama, of course, but not possible. Next up, Team Colon 3. Debating whether or not I'm going to keep that team name. I don't know. Seems really unimaginative. Colon 3. This was a team last year as well that's mainly Taiwanese, a couple of Hong Kong players as well. Very, very strong roster. This one, the 18th seed. It's going to be Spines Knight, Dazzlewind, TBK, Willio214, Sky Blue, Ethan TC, Chiroyu, and Tira. There's some good players on that roster, dude. There are some good players on there. Spines Knight, one of the best players in the rank range. Shibiki is, and Dazzlewind, of course, having got some good results themselves. Some other guys on that one filling out that roster very well. And going one backward, the highest ranked team in this seed, RNB Club, the number 17 seed overall. Captained by Kug1, joined by 1Max, Desuke, Hifkill, Lapin777, Magnata Gamer 123, Cargons, and Net Why Not. Kind of top heavy team on there. Obviously Kug1, Hifkill, very well known. Some of the others a little less so. And then we're down to the last 4 of the mid seeds, starting off with Weekvet. Is our number 27 seed. That is the Dutch roster, all Netherlands here. Captained by Woos, joined by Oe Pep, Jackie Lamb 5, Cosmic Wolf, Manivat, Nyako, aka Cavoboy, Dolter, and Goat Stuck in Tree. Always have to look out for these Dutch rosters in most tournaments. Next up, the Super Team at Jonah. At Jonah, number 28 seed. So again, we're just going next one over. Jonah 7117 making up a very interesting roster consisting of Mr. Potato, Tricolor, Shiba, Lena, aka Floff, aka Tilted AF, Floridsdorf, Toybot, and Ontoriron. I'll get that out eventually. They have a good shot at getting through. Not a super strong group so far. Finally, last 2. And we'll go on to the top seeds. First of them is going to be Gugu. Oh my god, Dada got Vtuber Enjoyers in his group. We'll get there in just a sec, but Gugu is our second to last in this seed. That's the Chinese roster. 31 seed. Vita, My Angel Anzu, Milk Tea, Kuku QY, Strife 36, My Angel Henri, CRZ, Maki, and Mapper Garden. It's pretty Chinese teams, man. They're always good. And lastly, of course, is going to be all caps Scorefarm Users. Freaking all caps teams making their letters really long. So Scorefarm Users is the number 19 seed overall, and yeah, I mean, Dada is going to be going into the same group as Akane Hime. I don't know why I found that funny. I guess just because, you know, Brazilians. But this is actually going to be an interesting roster to watch. They've got some very, very strong tournament players. Will Stetson, RLSC, Just Blank, Respective, Ignite, Dada, Streamin' Demon, and Moose Pie. All known for score farming, of course, hence the team name. They're going to be one of the strongest teams in their seed, I think. Very, very good performers on that one. And so, last, but definitely not least, we are going to go into the high seeds. These are the top 16 teams. These will be the teams that will be probably competing for the whole thing by the end of it. But first, they're going to have to get through the groups. So, off we go. First one is going to be Snapnoula, going into Group A. That is going to be our number 6 seed. That is going to be the Polish team in the top seed group. Twajstari, Blade 69, Lorox PL, Victor, Pajwaj, Stephen Naismith, Burt Pie, and Blondaz. Yep, they're pretty good guys. Very good, very strong Polish players on that roster. Really, really good. A lot of experience in tournaments. Next up, here it is, 14 UTC, the number 1 overall seed. Going into Group B. This is the one that you're going to watch out for. These are the, I think, to most people, probably the overwhelming tournament favorites coming in. Captained by Vivace, joined by Denier Nezer, Sigi, Miles, Malteser, Iger, David Kutu, and Shina Noriko. Number 1 seed, and the favorites, I think, as I said, to win this tournament coming in. Really, really good players, and they are going to be playing all their matches at 14 UTC, because when the hell else would they play with a roster that has Australia and Hong Kong and the UK and the United States and so on and so forth. Actually, this team could unironically, if Malteser was like a complete degen, they could just play at like 3 or 4 UTC or something, but obviously that's 4 AM for him, so not sure on that one. If they have matches that they don't need him for. Next up, Wolf Over Sleeps. Wolf Over Sleeps. I don't think I recognize that team name. This is an interestingly put together one. Some varied kind of players on this team. Number 11 seed, Captain Walfrid. Okay, that explains the team name. Joined by Goose Fedora, Rexies, Shane Liang, James Naismith, that's me confused with Steven Naismith, Ansenth, Fuma, and Kitty. So some very good tournament players in that one as well. I think all these teams in this group are going to be just really strong tournament players. It's going to go without saying for most of these rosters. Those are some really strong, really well-known names. Next up, Greg. You'll love to see it. Team Greg. That is going to be our number 8 seed. Saika OK1, Coach, minus Vesperit, Sari, Kirochi, Sawada, and Marcus. Good players. Good team. Very strong. That's going to be a tough group. That's going to be a real tough group. Next up, Don't Care. No, I don't care either. Team Don't Care. Number 10 seed. Bloodbursting the captain, joined by Sparkse, Nitro M, Daiichi, Kiro127, Kyoto Naito, MNBVCXY1234567 and Zabloink. Well, that is a mouthful. Next up, GG Dogs. This is our number 2 seed. That is the team of Okinotori Co, running back their team from last year a little bit. Very interesting roster this year. They've got Okinotori captaining, joined by Blazink, Zin, Delis, Meniwa, DJ Iben, Komachi Baka, and Retina. Yeah, they're really good. That's going to be one of those teams, again, that's like favored to get to at least semifinals, if not farther. Very strong roster. Next, Bad Kittens. GG Dogs, then Bad Kittens. Okay, I don't know how to feel about that. Bad Kittens. It's kind of mixed teams. Got a bunch of Americans, but then a couple Europeans thrown in. So you've got Trail Mix as their captain at the number 5 seed slot. Trail Mix, Lights Out, Fangzi, Thunder, Ramton, Vane, 5 Yoshi, and Sayo. You know, not a bad roster. Doesn't seem super well rounded, but we'll see how they do. Got a couple good speed players in that one, at least. That'll be cool. Next up, No PP as the Group H top seed. Well, you're in the top seed, so you've got to have some PP. You're the 9th seed overall. This is the South Korean team. That's going to be a fun one to schedule. Maybe HRHDT, who's just aiming to make everyone cringe. Golden Mine, Lee Yoon-hyuk, Inan, Korkosaki, Piper, Ariadna, and Spectre. Pretty strong South Korean roster. Those teams always end up doing pretty well, it seems like. A lot of very well-rounded players in a lot of those teams, it seems like. Next, Russia Osu Cup. That's really a team name? I didn't even notice. I didn't notice half these team names, apparently. I believe this is one of the lower seeds in this grouping, and they are. They're the 15th seed overall. Kiori, Sadness Will Sear, Urkel, Deadline, Arclight, Sakura, Unberlin, and Roman Pokora. Really, despite being a high seed, not as many recognizable names on that as I would have expected. Obviously, Kiori, Sadness Will Sear, but not as familiar with the other guys, but surely they'll perform pretty well. Next up, Alerta de Afe, which, despite the name, is actually a German team, because that makes sense, right? So all German here. You've got the 14th seed, Slimex3, Deneha, Kriller, Haftbefehl, KHZ, German Let's Play, Rezoa, and Shiax. German teams, man. You know what happened last year with the German team. Hopefully this year will go better for them. Next, you have Team World Tour. Let's see if they live up to their name here. Team World Tour. Yes, they really do. Wowie. 16 seed, Alfonso, Mackie Donalds, Carly Zahn, KS Raids, Yumemi Ryamu, Arbusian, Chronolka, and Omfen. Wow. You've got Australia represented, you've got Europe represented, you've got the United States represented. That is truly a world tour. That's going to be another fun one to schedule, isn't it? I am prepared. 8 angry men go next into Group L. They're very angry, as you can see from their logo. That is the number 3 seed. Another incredibly strong roster. You've got 7 Americans and a German player on this one, captained by Chili Repair. We'll be joined by Taquito, Woey, Chez Bananas, Firstus, Toki, Leftovers, and Spev. So this is going to be just some of the peak 3 and 4 digit, depending on BWS or not, United States tournament players, with Firstus thrown in for good measure from Germany. That's a hell of a roster. And going in with R&B Club, who are, of course, the top seed from the mid-seed group, and Ruge, who are one of the best teams in the low-seed group. That's going to be a really... And Morix System V20, who are a very strong team in that low-seed group. That's going to be a fucking... This is like group of death tier right here, potentially. There's a lot of really good players in these teams. And then we were down to 4. The last 4 teams to be drawn. Starting off with 8 Cube Boys. So we go 8 Angry Men and then 8 Cube Boys immediately after. I was hoping that would happen, and then it did. And they go into a pretty good group as well. So this is going to be the number 7 seed, captained by Eddie, joined by Topoi, the Pro 365, Shinru, Yip, Hanori, Zyfox, and Best 459. Another one of these. Just, I mean, these top seeds. There's a lot of good teams in there, but these guys, a lot of tournament experience on this one. Fair amount of just strong raw skill in a lot of different areas. And you know, they're going into a group with that very strong Dutch team and the fairly strong $19 Fortnite card. Not as strong as some of the others, but that does mean we get Gaza Defects taking on Zyfox and Best, their countrymen, whenever those teams match up. So that'll be pretty interesting to see. Last three. Starting off with the N Firms, a mainstay. They've had at least one team in every Hippo Cup, and a couple in some of them. Always sticking around are the N Firms. That's a very strong South American roster. The number 13 seed this year, captained by Danit, joined by Rebo, Slowburn, the artist formerly known as Fasto Frizu, Emery Kuno 2, FDX, X Kirito, Desperi, and Rabbi. So you've got Uruguay, you've got Argentina, and you've got Brazil represented on that roster. I think they'll have a pretty good time in that group. Not as strong as some of the others. Finally, our last 2 teams to be drawn. Drum roll, please. It is going to be Avivament FC. I don't know how to say FNC in French. Sorry. They're here somewhere. Surely. Actually, that's not even French. I don't know what that is. But Avivament. Oops. And this is one of the most peculiar rosters that I've ever seen. It is the number 12 seed. We're going to read off these players, and then I'll say where they're from. So you've got Julian Cala from Argentina. You've got Amuro from Uruguay, excuse me. Or no, that is Argentina. Sorry. Julian Cala, Amuro, and Enhu. And then you've got Suffix, Holy Jesus, Overcomplexify, and Mavs, who are all Australian. And then you have Aerith, who is Japanese. Alright. I'm just... Why? When am I supposed to schedule you guys? And then lastly, but not least, Team No Spamming will be the last team to go into a group, the top seed of Group P as in Paul. Another one of these incredibly strong... Wow, this group is also actually nuts. What the heck? No Spamming, Scorefarm Users probably both go through, but Vtuber Enjoyers are going to be probably pretty good in a group stage, and Enjoyment Gaming, not bad either. So No Spamming, the number 4 seed, Astris, Abraham R, Flask, Synchro, Emery Kuno, Payne, I'm a Burger Fox, and Tusk. That is a roster that can put the Fear of God into just about any team in this tournament. So you have a very strong group that's just been assembled in Group P. And, well, that's everything. That's all the teams, that's all the groups, all 16 of them. There's some scary groups here, and there's a lot of scary teams here. So this should be pretty fun. So, you know, housekeeping, right? This is done, so I'm going to go on from this. Obviously, this will go up in a little bit. I'll be uploading this while I'm making the schedules for the group stage. That'll be taking place over the next 2 weeks. So from February 20th through February 28th will be our group stage. I'm going to have... I think some good matches. I mean, best of 9, first 5 wins. Rules are all in the forum post, and hope everybody enjoyed the group draws, and hope everybody has a good time. I wish everybody good luck in the tournament, which is really now about to be basically underway. So with that said, I have been this one guy. Thank you for watching this video recording, and GLHF to everyone involved.